Nation and
Chiefs Kingdom, baby.
Salute, man, to everybody here in the building, man. No intro needed. Welcome to the Seven Rings podcast. I am one of your hosts, Graphk Raider. I got my brother in the building. Darcy, what's good, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. It's good to see you, Chiefs Kingdom. It's good to see you, Raider Nation. Or as what did Ben call him? Raider Country? Did he call him that? Or was it who called him that? But no, it's good to be with you guys. It's good to be with you guys. Excited. We've been having this in the plans for a while now. We haven't had an opportunity to do it. Finally, we get together and we can kind of go over all the stuff that's happened this offseason because it's been a very eventful offseason for both teams. And I've actually been paying attention a lot to your streams and watching behind the scenes. I was actually listening when you guys traded for Gino Smith.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, we've got plenty to talk about.
For those who are not, privy to who Darcy is, my brother from the AFC West roundtable. So we're going to continue this during the off season, during the regular season. Salute to Jake, who covers the Chargers as well. He will be here with us. He didn't fit this show. 7 rings. They don't have any rings. It just didn't make any sense to bring Jake into the fold. You know what I mean? So, and real quick, man, prayers up to our brother Ben as well. We're not going to go into details or specifics. Just if you guys can in the comment section, send some prayers out to our brother Ben and his family. He's going through some things right now, but he will be back into the fold here soon. We're still trying to figure out the name. Is it Where the West is One podcast? Whatever it's going to be, we will be live and active and covering the AFC West all season long. But you guys, man, let's start with the Chiefs because I've kind of done a million lives about our moves. We'll go over those as well. But how are you feeling about the Chiefs all season? Man, you guys addressed the quarterback room something crazy. And you bring in a former Raider that just shit the bed last season. I mean, how are we feeling about Gardner Minshew to the Kansas City Chiefs?
Are you talking about future backup MVP Gardner Minshew by chance? No. Dude, when they signed Gardner Minshew, I was like, wow. I had the same reaction when they signed Carson Wentz last year. I was like, this isn't a needle mover because the guy's not going to play. And if he does end up playing, he's going to have the best mastermind offensively the NFL has ever seen. So, you don't expect him to go out there and single-handedly win you games. The hope is that the roster is good enough to kind of shoulder the blow if Patrick Mahomes does end up leaving a game. So, I do feel like it's a solid backup. It's the first time that the Chiefs have ever signed a backup quarterback that's younger than Patrick Mahomes. Usually they go out and they get a Matt Moore or a Chad Henne or a Carson Wentz. And so this is very different. But I think he's going to win the job to be the backup out of camp because we got
Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi. He's garbage. I mean, he's not.
Hey, I was so high on him in that class because of the production that he put up. I know he was at a small time school, but Zappi can be good. I'm telling you, man, look, you got Andy Reid out there. This guy, if he gets his hands, I'm telling you, Bailey Zappi could be the truth. But
maybe we could trade him back to you guys. For some future draft capital.
But how are you feeling, man, about the offseason? Some guys, moved on. Some new guys came into the building. Donnie, man, you lose him. And that was like the big loss this offseason for Chiefs Kingdom. Like, how do you feel about losing the former All-Pro, a guy that played a ton of years for the Kansas City Chiefs, been a part of all those Super Bowl rings? How you feel about that?
That one was tough because I think you can go back and look at it. Joe Thuney might be one of the most impactful free agent signings the Chiefs have ever made. I mean, if you just want to look at his impact in helping us win multiple Super Bowls, like he is definitely one of the best moves that Brett Veach and this franchise has ever made. It's tough because I could still see him playing at an all-pro level this year. But the Chiefs have this philosophy where they would rather move on from a guy 1 year early than be 1 year too late. And I see it as this. The Chiefs had a not so simple decision to choose between either extending Trey Smith or trying to move some money around, giving Joe Thuney a couple more years. And so you can kind of mitigate that cap hit. They ended up deciding to trade Joe Thuney and franchise tag Trey Smith, which I'm not a huge fan of because I do think that, having good interior offensive line pieces is important, but right now he's set to make like $23.4 million if he plays under the tag. And I know how Chiefs negotiations work, and they work very slow. So I don't know if he's going to end up playing under the tag. I will say I don't think losing Joe Thuney is going to be as big of a deal as a lot of people think. It's a great trade for the Bears.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But a lot of people don't remember that Joe Thuney didn't play left guard for half the season last year. They moved him out to left tackle.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you how good he is and how versatile he is.
I always butcher his name. Thuney, so it's Thuney.
Thuney, yeah. But you got to think like the Chiefs are hoping that they can either draft someone and develop him, or, you drafted Kingsley Suamataia in the second round last year.
Yeah.
The hope is that he ends up sliding in and playing left guard, because I don't know if you remember watching him. He was ass at left tackle. He cannot play left tackle at all.
I mean, you guys made a lot of moves. You bring it, and I got it on screen right here. And salute to 2-4 on the $2 donation. Salute to Laker from 916 on the $5 as well. I watched every AFC West Roundtable episode. I actually respect Brez's football mind, even though he's a Chiefs fan. Salute to my guy, Raider Laker from the 916. So these are some of the moves you guys made right here. There's not a lot of big name guys. You brought back Juju, which is smart. You brought back Kareem Hunt, who came in and gave you some real live bullets last season. Gardner Mitchell was interesting to me. I understand the Bailey Zappa because he's still fairly young, and you can try and develop him and have him be, potentially a backup at some point out there in Kansas City, even though he is probably going to be third on the depth chart at this point. Nick Bolton, you guys kind of set that market early. What was your thoughts on that deal? Because that deal kind of made the linebacking, like that kind of affected the Raiders with Robert Spillane. He goes to New England, gets $37 million. Like, how do you feel about that deal? I know you wanted to keep Bolton around. He's still young, homegrown talent, but bro, you guys spent a nice, pretty penny on bringing him back.
I was kind of in the middle. So I was actually someone that was a firm believer this team would be okay without Nick Bolton. And actually, by me going out into the field, when I went down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, I got to talk to Nick Bolton. I got to talk to a lot of that defensive staff. And just hearing the way that they talk about Nick Bolton, it's like a dad talking about his firstborn son. Like, that's how much they love and respect him. And they think he is the smartest guy on that team. He's the green dot. He's calling the plays for the defense. And so, listen, he's limited athletically, but I knew that when he became a free agent, the Chiefs were going to find some way to get him back. That's a Steve Spagnuolo pick. I think that if it was up to Brett Veach, he probably wouldn't be back. But the Chiefs were either going to bring back Justin Reed or they're going to bring back Nick Bolton. And clearly they decided to go with Nick Bolton. Yeah. And it's interesting because Justin Reed didn't really get paid that much by the Saints.
No, so not at all.
It's interesting to see how that market worked out. I do think you got him on a better contract than what the Eagles paid for Zach Bond. But at the same time, the difference between Zach Bond and Nick Bolton is probably the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Zach Bond was all pro last year.
Yeah.
And I like Nick Bolton. I think he is very good in his role. But if you have him drop back into coverage, you're going to see a couple times where he's chasing the tight end that gets behind him. Yeah. And I think that the Chiefs could have done a better job at, going younger. You can get a linebacker in the 4th round of the draft, and he could be a capable day one starter. Especially in this draft class, which I know that you know that.
Oh, yeah.
I wish that they would have probably done that. I don't hate bringing back Bolton, but I think if Nick Bolton played for the Patriots or played for another team, he would not be in Kansas City.
Yeah, no, definitely. Remy LeGoat, we're going to talk about that here in a second as well. Stay tuned, brother. We're going to go over the Chiefs offseason. We're going to go over the Raiders offseason, and then we'll talk about Spytek being out there. I got a
lot of thoughts on the Raiders, too, and they're good. Some good thoughts and some bad thoughts. So
this is great. This is great because we haven't talked since we shit the bed in 4-13, and we haven't talked since you guys got blown out in the Super Bowl.
We don't got to talk about that.
We've talked about it a lot in the group chat, but we haven't been public, with this. So salute to Hug. He said, Darcy, how is mom's meatloaf?
Man, I could use some of it now.
Salute to Darcy. Salute to Hug, my dog, man. Appreciate you, brother. Let's go over a little bit more of these names. Jalen Moore, brought in Elijah Mitchell. This is a guy that I'm really high on, Darcy, when he's healthy. He hasn't been healthy a ton, but it looks like you guys are going kind of by committee here. You know what I mean? And you can limit his reps. This kid can give you some real nice production as like a running back too, out there in Kansas City. What'd you think about that pickup? He played his career with the Niners, and once again, he's had some starter minutes out there when other guys have gone down. He's looked fairly good. How do you feel about Elijah Mitchell?
It was a good signing. The only issue that I have is his health is a major problem. He didn't play all of last year. And
Yeah.
so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, Elijah Mitchell is going to be a great piece in this offense when he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. But if he's healthy, he's going to probably make this team. If this is someone that, is kind of laboring through camp, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut. Like, this kind of reminds me of a Ronald Jones signing from a couple of years ago.
Yep.
When they brought in Ronald Jones. It was like a 1 year, $2.5 million contract. Might be the exact same dollar amount, but then they brought in Elijah Mitchell, but they cut Ronald Jones back during camp. Or maybe he made the team, but he never saw the field. So I hope that Elijah Mitchell has a big impact. I still think with signing Elijah Mitchell and bringing back Kareem Hunt, you still need to draft the running back probably in the top 3 rounds. Like, I don't think the Chiefs solved any of their running issues. Like, they didn't get anybody younger and more explosive. They got older and more injury prone.
Well, so this is a deep class, Darcy.
Yeah,
like, I mean, honestly, you can get a starter in the 5th or 6th round. Like, this is how deep this class is. I think you need to address it early on in the first 3 rounds for sure to get one of those blue chip kind of running backs. But bro, how with Devin Neal. I mean, the kid out of Canton, like, he can go in the latter rounds and be a phenomenal asset for you guys. Juju, you bring him back into the fold. Jerry Tillery is on an AFC West tour. Like, Chargers, Raiders, the only team he hasn't played for is the Broncos yet. What do you think about him? I think this is really just a depth piece for you guys on the defensive line, right?
It's a really good signing because even if he doesn't end up playing very meaningful snaps, the Chiefs have gotten into this funk the past couple of years where they'll go into the draft with some pretty pressing needs. And I think the Chiefs have had such a good offseason because I quite literally think they could play football tomorrow. If they had to play football tomorrow, they could field the team. And that hasn't been the case, the past couple of seasons. And they still probably need to draft a defensive tackle in the first 2 rounds. But now you have Jerry Tillery. I love Mike Pennell. I'm a Mike Pennell stan. I think he is one of the better run-stuffing defensive tackles in the league. I kind of want to talk a little bit about Jalen Moore because that was a signing that got a little bit of criticism. Here's the thing. The left tackle market was essentially non-existent. And the options that were on the market weren't any good. Cam Robinson, not a good football player. You want to talk about David Moore Jr., who signed that 4-year, $82 million deal with the Titans? They paid him a lot of money. And Graphk, even though that Jalen Moore wasn't a starter for a lot of his time in San Francisco, is the drop-off between David Moore and Jalen Moore that substantial?
No. He didn't start a ton of ball games. He played in a ton. 15 last season, 16 the year prior. Started in 5 games. I thought that was kind of a sneaky move by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I think it's great because not only did the Chiefs get someone, they signed him to a 2-year deal. The way the money's arranged, it's essentially a 1-year prove-it deal. And if he's good, you can extend him. If he's bad, you can get rid of him after 1 year. But the thing is, the Chiefs didn't want to go out and pay a Ronnie Stanley, pay a player like David Moore, or they were never in on trading for Laramie Tunsil, and Cam Robinson is not a good football player. So when you add all those things together, it just wasn't going to make sense to go out and try to throw money at a free agent left tackle when there weren't any good options.
Yeah, and the kid is still 27 years old, and he just turned 27 in January, I believe. So, I mean, hey, you can see what it is. Salute to 2-4. But Darcy, why are you living in the past with those old banners? Just like the Cheats fans tell us, Darcy, you lost, you get nothing. Good day, sir. Talk that shit, 2-4. Talk.
I guess that would mean the 4-13 banner won't get hung either. So we can move on from that. One of these live streams, guys, I'm going to wear the Super Bowl rings. I'll get those. They're in a safe right now. I'll crack those Super Bowl rings out. And then whenever you guys are rambling about some nonsense, I'll just put my hand to the camera. And you guys can look at the rings. You guys can literally kiss the rings.
Let me go crack my 3 that have a lot of dust on them. A lot of them. What do you think about bringing back Hollywood Brown? He missed the majority of the season last year with an injury. Showed up for you guys late in the season. What do you think about bringing him back? He's still fairly young, and you needed to bring a receiver back. You lost, DeAndre Hopkins. He goes out to Baltimore. What do you think about that signing?
No, I love it. I think Hollywood Brown was someone that kind of priced himself into the market because he was hurt all of last year. If he ended up playing a full season and was able to have 800 to 1,000 yards, he would have made $15, $17 million this next season. But since he didn't, the Chiefs were able to bring him back on another 1-year deal. I think the way the wide receiver room works right now is he's your number 3. And if Hollywood Brown's your number 3 wide receiver, you're in a really good spot. And I still think they need to draft one, but I feel like the Chiefs got someone back on their team that knows the offense, obviously had that chemistry with Patrick Mahomes, which for whatever reason is more difficult to obtain than you'd think. But they also signed Juju for that reason. So they're kind of doing what they did last year for the most part. And this is just all over the place. They're bringing back the exact same roster. And who am I to say that's a bad idea when they went 15-2 and they were 1 game short of three-peating? So
what do you think is the sneakiest pickup you guys had this offseason? Is there a name that we're looking at? Maybe the Christian Fultons of the world, one of those type of guys. I mean, do you think that there's a sneaky, because you started off free agency by bringing back one of your own, franchise tagging Trey Smith, a guy that we were looking at in the nation like, man, we can use a guard right now. But he looked bad in the Super Bowl against that defensive line.
He didn't look $25 million worth, I'll tell you that.
No. That defensive line in Philly kind of owned him. But before we get to that sneak, how do you feel about that? Bringing him back on the franchise tag. And I know you guys are going to try to work out some long-term deal with him. But how do you feel about that move, especially at that price tag? We talked about it in the group chat, and you were like, wow, like that's a lot of money.
You told me. I had no idea. You're like, what? Or you're like, you bastard. I'm like, what do we do? I was like, what do we do? But no, see, it's so tough because I can see Trey Smith and the player that he is. He did have a rough Super Bowl, I will say that, but everyone did. That entire roster did. Yeah. I don't think that should discredit his entire tenure in Kansas City. He, I think, could be an all-pro at the position. The issue that I have is the Chiefs have done, I don't want to say a poor job of positional value, but they seem to dish out money in areas where they don't end up solving the problem, and it leaves them no money to go sign skill players. Yeah. And I feel like giving Trey Smith a massive contract extension, that's great, but he was drafted in the 6th round. And granted, he's a little bit of an outlier because he had some medical stuff in college, but you can find a replacement level right guard. I guess it's just how bad do you want to see the dip in production? I think that's losing Super Bowls the way the Chiefs do. It always makes the front office skittish to go away from offensive line talent. That's why when the Chiefs lost that first one against the Bucs, Joe Thuney was signed less than a month later. Yep, immediately. And they did the exact same thing with Trey Smith. And I think they saw this as, hey, we can franchise tag Trey Smith. I don't like the idea of him playing under the tag, but if they franchise tag, Trey Smith and get a long-term deal worked out 4 or 5 years, the number I'm seeing is 5. Yeah. He's going to play those 5 years and he's gone. They're not giving him any more money. Like, I think that's how the Chiefs are going to try to, dish out the contracts. Personally, I don't love him playing under the franchise tag, but they've made it work and they've moved money around to still go out and sign players. So I guess it worked, but you still have a pretty high cap hit for a right guard. Yeah. And you move on from Thuney, he goes to the Bears. And they restocked that offensive line immediately. Jonah Jackson, you go and get the center out of Atlanta, who's going to be a starter for them immediately. That's a strength out there in Chicago. Now we're not talking about them though, but Travis Kelce is committed, right, to come back. So he's going to be back this year. Apparently word was that he just cannot go out that way. And I respect that, right? What do you feel about Travis coming back? And especially at that tag? I mean, he's still owed a lot of money at this point in his career. I mean, how do you feel about that? I'm going to give you the non-financially responsible answer. I feel like Travis Kelce, for his entire career, has always given the Chiefs a discount. He has never gotten what he has truly deserved. Yeah. And when he signed that extension a couple of years ago, they did pay him a little bit more, and it was backloaded. But the way that I view it, as he has done so much for the city, so much for the franchise, so much for the organization, multiple championships, his tag is $19 million. And for this guy, who is as important to your franchise as any player that has ever walked through those doors, if that's the tag, if that's the price that you're paying him, figure out where you can cut someone else and make it worth it for him. And I know that's not the financial answer that probably most people want to hear. Like, there were some Chiefs fans that were like, we want him back, but we don't want him on that price tag. And it's like, well, you don't get to pick and choose when. Like, and I think he has deserved that money. He has earned that money. And the Chiefs have kind of worked around it. And they know that, he's not going to probably be here after next year. Yeah. Eat the cap, let him get paid the $19 million, and then let him have his last dance.
I agree. You set the standard for your best players on that roster. And like you said, taking those kind of Tom Brady-esque kind of deals to stick around and make it work makes all the sense in the world to bring him back. And, man, that was look, we get back to the Super Bowl, but I know he does not want to leave on that kind of sour note. No. Honestly, man, going into the draft, and we want to talk about that as well here in a second, but how do you grade your offseason thus far? You lose a few people, you gain a few people. I mean, this is what it is during free agency. There wasn't a ton of splashy names out there. That's why I laugh so much at my guys and my fan base. Raider Nation, I love you guys, but people are like, we didn't go out there, we didn't get this. Look, people were getting overpaid, Darce. Like, there was mid players getting overpaid, getting paid. I watched a guy in Trayvon Merrick. I love him, the safety for the Raiders. I love him. Homegrown talent, former second-round pick. Should have been a first-round guy. Get paid top 5 safety money. I love Robert Spillane. He got paid top 5 linebacker money. You know what I'm saying? And he's more of a one-dimensional linebacker that's going to leave a lot desired in coverage. So it's like, why be – you have to be kind of, financially – like, you have to be smart in the offseason.
You got to be savvy. You got to be savvy.
Yeah.
And Graphk, I watched Tershawn Wharton get generational money. And listen, undrafted kid, went to Missouri S&T.
Yeah.
It could not happen to a better guy. But it's like, I'm good on that. Like, I like Tershawn Wharton. I don't like him at that price tag.
Yeah.
And that's, listen, Raider Nation, I can tell you this. I've been in the position, just because you have all this money and that you can spend all this money doesn't mean that's going to equate to wins. And oftentimes, the biggest spenders in free agency end up being the worst the next year. Like, they're horrible, because guess what? Just because you throw money at this guy, throw money at that guy, doesn't mean all those guys fit together. Doesn't mean he fits the defensive scheme. Doesn't mean that he can run the offense. And so it's just, it blows my mind.
I was saying that, like, I put it on Twitter and on Instagram, like, great teams build their teams in April. They don't build their team in March. You build through the draft. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all these players that are on your roster, Jones, most of them are homegrown guys. Chris Jones, and
Max Crosby for the Raiders.
There you go. But we'll talk about this, because we've been bad for a long time. I'm talking about the really good teams. They build through the draft and they plug in. Philly can go afford Saquon Barkley to be the cherry on top, right? Like, but they drafted Quinyon Mitchell. They drafted a bunch of those guys on the D line and that offensive line. They drafted Jalen Hurts. They made a trade for AJ Brown to get over the hump. You make those kind of moves when you're already winning ball games. When you need that one player where you're like, we got to get over the hump. We got to get better in order to win the Super Bowl. We're not there yet. So I just always find it hilarious. We made the biggest moves in the offseason. You know what our moves were? Bringing in Pete Carroll, a culture changer that has won every step, everywhere he's went, from USC to Seattle. You bring in Spy Tech, a great GM. Tom Brady is now, in the mix with everything football related. You go get a Chip Kelly. Like he's a phenomenal offensive mind, as you keep as a coordinator, not a head coach.
I was gonna say that would be interesting.
But he's coming off of a national championship, and one thing about him, he loves to run the ball like Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. So I love what we did. We got in Dylan, the running backs coach from Notre Dame, which I love. It's one of my favorite pickups this offseason. But we did what we were supposed to do. Like, we changed the coaching staff. We got better there. We got better in the upper management. Then you go make a trade for Gino Smith, 2-time Pro Bowler, that's coming off of a down season in Seattle where he had like the 30th ranked offensive line. You know what I mean? And he still threw for 4,300 yards last year, Darcy. He was top 4, top 5 in passing yards last season. So, I think, man, we're doing it the correct way. I think Pete Carroll is trying to set this up. So he's 73 years old. When he decides to leave, I think he wants to make sure that this thing we're a perennial playoff team. Like, we're not just going all in right now. It would have been easy to go out there and make a splash and pay Stephon Diggs that kind of money, knowing he's coming off of a torn ACL, Darcy. New England is insane to give him $70 million for 3 years, coming off of that kind of injury at 31 years old. Then you look at Cooper Kupp. Dog, that deal, he's rarely available. And Seattle says, we'll bring him home because he's from the area. We need a receiver.
But we don't want DK Metcalf.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Right. So I think the Raiders are doing it the right way. I'm going to present what we've done this offseason as well. Real quick, man, salute to everybody here in the building. As always, man, make sure you guys wipe them feet. That means hit them thumbs up to all the Chiefs fans in the building over on Darcy's side of things. And also, man, if you guys are not subscribed, to our guy. Make sure you go subscribe to our guy, KC Sports Report, to support one of our dudes. I know we hate the Chiefs. We know Darcy hates the Raiders. But guess what? We're fans. We're going to be doing these shows a lot. So make sure you're tied in with our guy as well. You always want to keep an eye on your enemies as well. Keep them close.
And guys, I'm here for all the shit talk. If you want to let me know that the Chiefs just made a disaster move, subscribe and let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me how much we suck. I'll probably take it with a grain of salt, given you're Raiders fans. But
here we go with this shit. But Jason, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. Also, man, salute to my guy David Zahn gifting 5 as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And for those, do you have a membership thing on your side yet?
Not yet.
You need to get one, man. So you guys can stay tied in with you over there as well. Zahn, I appreciate you, brother, so much. Thank you. Man, the channel is growing in terms of memberships every single day because of you guys, man. So salute once again, and I appreciate you guys for rocking. Now, this is what we've done to this point in the off season, right? At this point, we're kind of in our fourth wave of free agency right now, Darcy. Pretty much.
We're somewhat, yeah. I mean, after the third and fourth, it's kind of just free agency.
Yeah. Post June 1st, you'll see some cuts. There'll be some big names that'll be available, and we still have a ton of money right now. We haven't extended Gino yet. Once we do, I think that's going to bring it'll bring his salary down a little bit, and we'll have even more. But this is what we've done up to this point. We went out and got Alex Kappa, familiar with Tampa Bay. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl out there. He was a good guard in Tampa Bay. He was one of the worst guards last season in Cincinnati on that terrible O-line where he led the league in every statistic at the bottom of the barrel. It was nasty work for Alex Kappa last year, Darcy. It was really, really bad.
On the bright side, there's only one way to go. There's only one way to go.
It can't get any worse.
No.
Yeah. But, we went and brought in, a veteran guard, to add some veteran presence to that young O-line. Brought in Jeremy Chin. I like this move a lot, man. This is a Pete Carroll kind of safety. Hard hitter. What is he? 6'3", 6'4", big body type guy that you can throw him all over the place. Both safety spots, the nickel, have him in the box. This guy can do it all. If you watched him with the Commanders, fun player to watch. That is a Pete Carroll-esque move. We just signed our guy, Leaky Fotu. This is a depth piece. He's a good run defender. He's still fairly young from Oakland, so I know he's going to go out there and try to play as hard as he can for his hometown team, but depth piece, nothing insane. Lonnie Johnson Jr., this is a special teams guy, a guy that can add you some value at the safety spot if need be, but honestly, we got him on a cheap. He will be a special teams ace, and he'll kick in at safety if we have an injury or something along those lines. And to be honest, this is no knock to Lonnie Johnson. I think he's a good player, but if we have him out there as safety, I'm kind of worried. What do you think about the move with Raheem Mostert? So this is a guy in 2023, Darce, that had a phenomenal season, 18 touchdowns on the ground, had over 1,000 yards. He was a fantasy football, oh my God, bro. Whoever had Raheem on their roster in 2023, it was insane. Last year, down season, dealt with an injury out there in Miami. Still has a ton of speed, but he's 33 years old. I think this is a good move in terms of bringing in a veteran presence, because years prior, Darcy, we went out and got Brandon Bolden, which was not a good move. You go out and get Amir Abdullah. He's a good special teams guy, good leader in the locker room, but he's not going to give you a ton of value at the running back position. What do you think about the move for Raheem Mostert?
If he's your running back 3, well, even running back 2, you're in a good spot. The issue that I have is he's not a needle mover. I still don't think he's going to be as explosive as you think. But if the hope is that you draft someone pretty high in the draft, maybe someone that could be generational, then it kind of fixes your running back room, and then he can kind of just mentor the rook. But now you guys are in a really good spot because you can take maybe the best running back prospects since
Saquon.
Yeah, I mean he's legit, guys. Genty's crazy, and I know that some people don't think he's going to be as good at the next level because they watched the college football playoff and this isn't the guy that he was. Did you see what he was fighting through? Did you see what he was dealing with? And he was still making guys.
He had over 100 yards rushing still. I mean, against Penn State, and that was a phenomenal defense as well. And his O-line did him no justice in that bowl game as well.
I'll tell you, and running behind JPJ, I'd like that.
Yeah. Wait, that was the Penn State game, right?
Well, I'm just saying if he gets drafted to the Raiders, running behind Powers Johnson.
Come on, man. But I'm the more and more we're getting closer to the draft, the more I'm like, that's okay. At 6, I'm okay with that. Bro, you can't lose bringing in that type of guy. We're gonna run the football a lot. Chip and Pete want to run the ball. If you have Raheem Mostert as your running back 2, or even your running back 3, because I think we're going to double dip in this class.
And you should.
Definitely. We still have some young kids. We have Sincere McCormick, who played really well for us last year before he went down with the injury. Dylan Laube, we still have not gotten a chance to see him yet. But you got to take 2 running backs. And if Raheem essentially is your running back 2 or running back 3, I think we're doing pretty good. Landon Roberts is an interesting player. Came over from Pittsburgh, one of the best linebackers against the run in the NFL. Leaves a lot to be desired in coverage, but this is kind of the move, Darcy, that we did a few years ago when we brought in Robert Spillane. He was known as a thumper coming in from Pittsburgh, and then in year 1 he got some picks, and we're like, oh, this guy can actually drop back in coverage and give us some production. You know what I mean? So he's going to be one of those starters. He'll be one of the starters there in the linebacker room. Eric Stokes. Are you familiar with Stokes?
I like Stokes coming out of Georgia. I wanted him in the draft. I mean, he was a Chiefs mock guy. Was it 2019?
I believe 2019, 2020. Yes, around that timeline. Went to Green Bay in round 1 out of Georgia. Year 1, he actually played really well. And then some injuries, and he started to miss a ton of football games. And this is one of those kind of moves, though, that I like what Pete Carroll and Spytek are doing. Inexpensive, prove it, 1 year, prove it deal. If healthy, and if he's ready to go in training camp, people don't want to hear this, but Eric Stokes is talented enough to win one of those starting spots. I'm telling you right now, Pete loves he loves those bigger, lanky corners. He could be that guy for us. We went out and signed Ian Thomas, I believe it was yesterday. This is a veteran tight end that played for Carolina these past few seasons. He's missed a ton of games these past 2 years, you guys. He's a good blocking tight end. I see a lot of people worried about, are we going to move on from Michael Mayer because of this? You're not signing Ian Thomas, a guy that missed a ton of ball games the last 2 years, to be the tight end 2 behind Brock Bowers. This is not us moving on from Michael Mayer. I think if anything, this is a camp body. If he's healthy, maybe he's a tight end 3. He can block for you, but that's it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that guy's making the team. No, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's great, but he's gonna have to find another job.
I don't think he's going to make this roster at all. Then you go down. We re-signed a few of our own guys. Adam Butler, which I love. I think that was mandatory that we brought him back. I think it was a 3-year deal, something like that. 3-year deal. Zach Carter, defensive tackle, brought him back into the mix. Signed Darnay Holmes back at the nickel. We moved on from Nate Hobbs. So, it was good that we kept one of those guys that can kick into the nickel spot if need be. He's not going to be the starter, I don't believe, though. Come week 1, he'll be more of a depth piece that can rotate in and out. Brought back Malcolm Kuntz, 1 year, $12 million deal. This is a kid, Darcy. I think you're very familiar with him. He was kind of on the up and up, coming off of not last season, but the year prior, where he had, I believe, 7-8 sacks by the end of the season in like 4 or 5 total games. Like, he was having a monster season. Doesn't play a snap last year, ends up hurting his knee in training camp and didn't play it down. Brought him back, and this is one of those leaders in the locker room as well. Max loves him. He's going to be that bookend guy next to Max unless we bring in a guy in the draft and he just takes training camp by storm. Then we brought back one of our own guys, Isaiah Palomau, which is really good. Brought him back, inexpensive deal. He's probably going to be the starter opposite of Chin. So you have your 2 starters there. Merrick moved on. And then we have a few other guys still on the existing roster. Trey Taylor, who came in last season, out of Air Force, 7th round pick. Chris Smith, former Georgia guy. We have some guys out there in the mix that can still try to provide some extra security blanket there at the safety spot. Here's a couple other guys that we're going to move on from. We haven't brought him back in. Amir Abdullah, there's no reason. You just brought in Raheem. John Jenkins knows, probably moving on from him. He's up there in age.
Marshall, goodness gracious.
You know what's funny, man? I know you can agree with me. Watching him at LSU, former 2nd round pick, I'm like, this kid can be something.
I wanted him. I really wanted him.
Goes to Carolina in that shitty quarterback situation. It's just like, damn, you know what I mean? And now he's just an afterthought. I would love to bring him back as a depth piece. You know what I mean? Why not? He's still really, really young, former 2nd round pick. There's still some potential that maybe he can live up to at some point. Andres Pete, you move on. Cody Whitehair, you move on. Janarius Robinson with the DUI and all the other shit that was happening. I'm moving on from him. And then a couple of restricted guys. Luke Masterson's a restricted free agent. We're probably not going to bring him back. Former Wake Forest safety, converted linebacker, hasn't played really well for us like that. Desmond Ritter's gone. Yeah, thank the Lord. DJ Turner, it looks like he is moving on. I seen him put a post on Instagram the other day in a story saying Vegas, pretty much sayonara. So it looks like DJ Turner, homegrown talent out of Pitt, is gone. And then some exclusive guys that we brought back into the mix, all re-signed. So Snowden's back, Sam Webb's back, Jordan Meredith, a sneaky move right there. He provided some real production for us on the offensive line last year with all the injuries. And then these guys will be back though. Other than that, man, we lost a few guys. We can go over this list as well. Harrison Bryant, I believe he went to the Eagles. They're probably going to end up turning him into something special out there, Darsh. You know how they do in Philly.
Man, I hate them.
Man. Oh, I know you hate them. Clavon Taysom kind of outpriced himself, went to New England. They brought him in. This was a guy that
they give him $30 million a year too.
No. It was I think it was like a 1 year. It was like a 1 year, $5 million deal or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he was a guy that really helped us at the defensive end position last year with all the injuries that sustained. Malcolm gone, Max gone. He actually really went out there and played his ass off. Former first round pick out of LSU that went to Jacksonville. Divine Diablo, thank the Lord. He went to Atlanta. He got starter money. Looks like he's going to start out there. Once again, another guy that converted from safety to linebacker. It just never really panned out for us. Marcus Epps, safety, dealt with the torn ACL, I believe, last year. He went to New England. The New England Raiders, man. Vrabel went out there and picked up and we're not done with them yet. Robert Spillane, he'll be the starter for New England. Paid him a shit ton of money. I think $37 million over 3 years, I believe. That's insanity, bro. That's insanity, dog. And then Trayvon Merrick, not one All-Pro, not one Pro Bowl to his name. And this is no knock to him because we love Trayvon, but top 5 safety money on Carolina. Top 5. It's just
you can't do that and expect to still be a good team. That's not a good contract.
No. Nate Hobbs is paid he's one of the highest paid nickel guys now. Went out to Green Bay, reunites with Josh Jacobs and a few of his former teammates. But once again, a guy that is not available every Sunday. He's dealt with a ton of injuries. He leaves a lot to be desired in coverage. He got paid a ton of money. And we were told early on that he wasn't going to re-sign with the Raiders. We kind of felt we knew it was coming. But for that, to get that kind of deal out there, kind of crazy. Alexander Madison, we swapped pretty much running backs. He went to Miami. We bring in Raheem Mostert. So there you have it. That's what we've done up to this point. Real quick, salute to 2-4. The KC Chiefs' best move was getting steamrolled. Talk that shit, 2-4.
Man, that's not nice. That is not nice.
I love it. We finally get to just talk a little shit because the AFC West Roundtable, man, it just every week it was like, what can we say to Darcy? Like, what can we say? Like,
I was invincible for like a good 15, 16-week span too.
Yeah, you were bulletproof, bro. Yeah. Salute the Pillager just for fun. I got respect for the Queefs, but hate them. Here's hoping we are witnessing the beginning of the end of the Queefs dynasty. Love the direction the Raiders are going. Love this duo of you and Darcy. Salute to my guy, Pillaging just for fun. I appreciate you on a $10 special. I want to ask you real quick. We'll talk about the Raiders draft as well. But what is your take on the Gino Smith pickup? And also, what is your take on extending Max Crosby? Pete Carroll and those guys made sure to take care of their best player immediately. When they enter Las Vegas. What do you think about the extension that Max got coming off that injury? And what do you think about a 3rd round pick for Gino?
Well, you had to extend Max Crosby. I know that I texted you a lot saying like, oh, the Lions are going to go trade for him. But no, Max Crosby's just one of those guys that if the Raiders traded him, they probably would not have an identity as an organization. Like at that point, no one wants to play for you guys. You traded away homegrown talent, someone who wanted to be there. So paying Max Crosby was essential. I mean, every player nowadays, they'll take a penny more just to be the highest paid player at this point in time. I don't really get it, but it's a thing everyone wants to do. So I understand, obviously giving him that money at the time. I don't think that in 2 or 3 years, we're going to be looking at that contract like, wow, you paid him that. No, with the way the cap has just skyrocketed and it's going to continue going up. Yeah, it's not going to be.
It's already a great deal. Danielle Hunter and Myles Garrett goes and gets paid. Myles gets $40 million per.
What is going on with Myles Garrett? I thought he wanted out.
Yeah,
I thought he was done.
There was a rumor that hit today, and I forgot who it was. Somebody that covers the Browns in Cleveland sports. He put something out there like Miles was actually interested in coming back because the plan was to go trade for Dak Prescott, right?
They're playing stupid.
And it sounds like
work out.
If that happened, probably Shedeur to Dallas. And then it's only a matter of time. Dion ends up being the head coach out there and blah, blah, blah. Well, somebody came out that was close to the situation and debunked that immediately. I got to tell you guys, there's no way you can keep Watson on that deal and then pay Dak Prescott. He's the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And then you have Myles Garrett on a $40 million deal per. So there's no way. So I kind of laughed at that immediately. I'm like, and remember, Dak has a no trade clause. Do you think he's just going to allow himself to move to Cleveland? Like, no. I don't see that happening. Kirk Cousins will be a Brown soon.
What I was going to say is that the Deshaun Watson contract rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But
that was a bar.
Horrible contract. You got to move on if you can. You probably just got to cut him. Like he's god awful too. I don't know who would trade for him.
Yeah,
I guess Dallas wanted him, but I don't know. I don't think that. It's just so crazy to see like players are like, we don't want to be here, and then it's like, we're gonna pay you, and they're like, we'll be here. Like people just say stuff to get paid. And listen, it's a game. I get it, but man, that's a lot. But no, you had to pay Max Crosby. It was a good deal, and he's gonna be the anchor of your defense for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about Gino? Going out and getting him. Pete Carroll gets to reunite with his guy. This is a guy that has historically played phenomenal indoors. His record, indoors is it's insane. He gets to play his home games in Allegiant Stadium this upcoming year. We play the Colts, we play the Texans. We have a bunch of indoor games, so I'm excited to watch Gino. But how do you feel about that move? A guy that kind of addresses every need that we wanted in a quarterback, which was a veteran presence, a guy that has great accuracy and throws the deep ball. Darcy, like we've had an issue with quarterbacks as of late. Jimmy G not being able to throw the football. Gardner struggling to throw the deep ball. Like we finally get a chance to maybe see what Trey Tucker can do this year, our speed demon on the outside. And then, a guy that is also mobile, that, can create plays with his legs and get outside the pocket and make some moves. How do you feel about that move?
I was watching your stream when the news broke, and you were kind of like, oh, like at first. But my opinion on this has changed because at first I was like, really? You traded for the wrong Seahawk. You should have gone and got, DK Metcalf. But I feel like I view it as you found your franchise quarterback, but you didn't find the franchise. And I think with that mentality, like it's not a bad trade. It's not a bad trade at all. A 3rd round pick for someone that can start for your football team is something that you guys haven't been in that position for a while.
And that was the Devontae pick, Darcy. It was a freebie. It was a freebie. So
even if it wasn't free, like you've not had stability at starting quarterback in a while.
Yeah.
And while who this, I mean, not play style wise, but this is Alex Smith. This is an Alex Smith signing. Like this is exactly what Andy Reid did when he came to town. He saw what we did and was like, these suck. These quarterbacks suck. And he traded for Alex Smith. And there was a ceiling to Alex Smith, but guess what? We were in the playoffs every year. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't think that Gino Smith is your franchise, but I think that he is someone that if he is your stopgap quarterback, you guys aren't going to get worse with him playing. I think that it's just, for me, looking at it on the outside, it's like, okay, you guys got better, but I think it's hard because I think fans might be a little disappointed knowing that you guys got better, but that's not a move that's going to win you a Super Bowl.
It's kind of like the purgatory that we were crying about when we had Derek Carr and we were kind of middle of the pack type team, but
at this point you'll take that because it's better than 4-13. So it's, you got to build that way and it's slow. And I think that's something that kind of sucks is like, you want it to be fast. You want to have the answers, but then you could be Pittsburgh where they're good every year, but they suck. They never end up actually winning anything because they're not good enough. I don't think that this move puts you in that position, but now you can actually go out next year and be competitive. You guys aren't going to be a laughing stock. Like you still probably won't win the division and you might not even play in top 3 in the division, but you're not going to lose.
Blasphemy, Darcy. Blasphemy.
You might not.
Hey, hot take here. We have the 2nd best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, that's very hot. That's on fire, actually.
Is it?
That's
Is it?
that's a little on fire because
Bo Nix had a good rookie season.
he did.
Justin Herbert has shit the bed every year.
True, but at the same time, like, what are we like? Are we going off arm talent? Are we going off of like who you'd rather start your franchise with? Because Gino's older than Justin Herbert is, and
I'm not going off of just the all. I'm looking at this season with Gino having Brock at his disposal. We're going to go get one of these top running backs in the draft. So he'll have a great ground game where they struggled last year with Kenneth Walker and Zach. You know, they couldn't get it going because the offensive line was terrible. His O-line is already better in Las Vegas. We still need to upgrade there in the draft, but Brock there, you know, I think we're going to end up signing Lockett at some point, Darcy. You know, he'll be that veteran presence. Pete loves him. You know, he drafted him. Him and Gino are like this. It just makes all the sense in the world to bring him in on an inexpensive deal, probably after the draft.
He's got to be a post-draft signing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I just think that they're going to put the pieces together. And once again, remember, our defense was injured, like completely ravaged last season. Like, you get a healthy Max back, a healthy Wilkins back, a healthy Malcolm Kuntz. Like, this defense is going to help Gino every step of the way. And, you know, once again, it's going to help you mightily. You have a Jacoby Myers, who a lot of people look at as a wide receiver too, and I agree, but he's a high-end wide receiver too. You go find your wide receiver one in the draft with Brock in the mix and Mayer. He's going to have some weapons. I just think that, you know, Herbert has struggled with everybody, with Keenan Allen, I mean, they still need to go get a number one guy. Like, and we'll talk about the Chargers a lot more.
So dysfunctional. They're so dysfunctional.
And they made so many pickups this offseason. Like, they had like 19, 20 acquisitions or some shit. Like, I can't wait to bring the guys on so we can talk about them. But I just think that Gino is going to have the support system around him. Pete is his guy. He's going to want to play lights out for him. And, you know, Bo Nix, you know how we've seen this year in and year out. A lot of these guys have those sophomore spells where the second year they come back down to reality a little bit. And I think that's what's going to happen with Bo Nix. Herbert.
Me too.
Can he be one of the best guys? He's 6'5", 6'6". The measurables, the arm. He has every intangible to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. It is problematic year in and year out. So I just think that Gino, barring any injuries, God forbid, he's been really healthy up to this point. But I just think that he's a safe bet. I do.
It's hard because, like, I don't think that Gino's bad. And even if he is the worst quarterback in the division, he's not a bad player. I think that it's a really weird spot. I mean, if we're just going based off of, you know, last year he would be third. Like, I think that Knicks had a better. Whoa, if we're going over stats, I mean, there's an argument that Mahomes probably performance-wise, I mean, they ended up winning a bunch of games, and then you get into the whole weeds of like, okay, what do you want? You want to win football games? You want to have all these monster numbers, but
statistically, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you're like, damn, he almost had a Patrick Mahomes type year, and they were terrible. Yeah,
they were horrible, and all the injuries the Chiefs had, and you guys had injuries too. But I feel like it's so like I clump all the other quarterbacks in the division. Like, I kind of see them now as the same, and that might not be fair to the other quarterbacks in the division.
I'm not mad about that though.
It's like, you're not worse than each other, but you're also not differentiating yourself. And maybe Gino comes out and balls, and then it's like, okay, he is number 2. He is number 3. But I think it's going to be really depending on if Bo Nix comes out and looks like CJ Stroud did last year. Because if that happens, then he is skyrocketing up the division.
Be honest here, Darce. Are you worried about Patty, man? Are you? Because look, year in and year out, he's been the greatest player on planet Earth. These past few seasons, he's starting to look a lot more pedestrian. And that Super Bowl appearance was nasty work. Some picks, pick 6. Cooper DeJean took that one to the crib. He's starting to look like he's looking like real humanish now. You know, like, how do you feel about him going into the off season and stuff like that?
I feel like the Chiefs have done such a poor job of helping him with like talent. Did you know Patrick Mahomes has never had a 1,000-yard rusher in his career? He has never had a 1,000-yard back.
Wow.
Never. The last time we had a 1,000-yard back, it was Kareem Hunt back in 2017.
Damn. Now, is that a part of the scheme? Is that Andy Reid just not running the ball like that, or do you think it's a partial? It's the talent there and the scheme?
Part of it's been play calling. There's been a really and I think there was something that came out about it today. They have not tried to throw the deep ball. And it's crazy because like 2019, 2020 Patrick Mahomes was the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. Like if he's throwing it up there, that's a touchdown. And part of it, it's easier when you've got Tyreek Hill. But when he left, they've tried to do their best to like find guys, but it hasn't really worked out. Like Justin Watson was their deep ball guy last year. And it's like, he is not that good. And part of it's Rashee Rice getting hurt last year. Like he had a couple deep ball catches early on in the season. He had that one against Cincinnati, which maybe he can end up being that guy. I'm not as worried about Patrick Mahomes. I do think that he is not going to have the statistical numbers that he had his first couple of years in the league because he was an alien. Like he just was insane. Yeah. But I think that he showed you back in 2022 and 23, you don't have to be the best quarterback statistically to be the best quarterback and still go to Super Bowls and still win championships, because I don't know how they won that Super Bowl, Graphk, in 2022 against the Niners. Or I guess 23, but how they were able to win that game with Sky Moore, with Kadarius Toney, who he's somewhere done right now. Not football, he's somewhere. MVS caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Like they were able to find a way to win with maybe the worst supporting cast that any Super Bowl champion has had in quite some time. So like, I think that's kind of, it's the give and take, man. It's like, they're going to win in years you just don't think they're going to win it. And then they'll lose in years where it's like, wow, they should have definitely won it. Like they should have been good enough to win it this year and they weren't. And I think that, you know, part of it is the offensive philosophy. They've almost neutered Patrick Mahomes in a sense where they're not allowing him to go downfield and find guys. And part of that scheme, they also like maybe run the ball twice on your drives and just make it seem like you had that in your game, because the Chiefs don't scare anybody in terms of running the football. And you saw that in the Super Bowl where Vic Fangio's like, hey guys, run the football at us.
We dare you.
Kareem Hunt did it and got stuffed. Pacheco got stuffed. It's just, we can't run the football effectively. And I think that if you had a dynamic running back, someone that like at least puts some fear into opposing teams' defensive coordinators, you'd be better. You'd be better overall.
Yeah. Real quick, man, let's get these supers in. Salute to Pillaging just for fun. Anyone would come back for 40 mil a year. He was like, fuck them rings. This is facts. To my Miles Garrett. Salute to Spivey as well, man. Gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, I appreciate you so much, my guy. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. Salute to Rube. Baby girl born today. Added a new Raider fan and a Chief hater. Hope all is well with everyone.
That's great, Ruben. That's great.
Salute to my guy, Rube, man. Love you, bro, man. Congratulations on your baby girl, bro. Salute to Hug. Here's a real question. Why does Kermit do that super questionable finger flicking thing between plays? Dude looks super duper ... pregnant? What the finger?
Super pregnant. Is he doing like the come here thing? Like I don't.
Oh, okay. Is that what you mean, Hug?
I think he's calling for the play. I think he's trying to get the play in faster. Yeah, a little questionable, but
salute to my guy, Hug D's. Appreciate you on the $5 special. So, what is your biggest need right now going into the draft?
It's hard to say because I feel like the Chiefs don't have any like glaring needs that if they don't draft that position, they're just not going to be a good football team. I think there's areas you can definitely get better. I think running back, that's not your number one priority. I think defensive tackle is probably the highest, priority right now.
Okay.
I've seen left tackle being thrown out there, man. Listen, they need a left tackle. They don't need one in this draft. I don't care if Simmons falls, if Connor Lee's there. Like, I don't want him. I don't want him at all. I don't think they're going to be good pros. And Simmons has character concerns on top of the injury that he had last year. So it's like, why are we doing this at pick 31 when you're not going to find a generational tackle at that spot? And maybe he doesn't have to be generational, but you're not going to find someone. They drafted a left tackle in the second round. That guy played 2 games, and they're like, this guy's so bad, we can't even have him play. So I'm done with the whole, tackle experiment in the first round. If they want to draft someone later on as a developmental guy, sure. But I think if you can get, best player available, I think that's the best part of the Chiefs offseason is with signing all these guys back.
Yeah.
They can truly take the best player available. If there's a great wide receiver, if a Luther Burden falls to 31, pick him. If there's someone that, you wouldn't normally take, but you just can't believe he's there, you take him. And I think that's a good spot for the Chiefs to be in.
What are the 3 positions that you would address BPA at those? I mean, BPA is essentially the best player available, period, at any position. But the first, because I want to do something real quick. We're gonna do 3 rounds right here. Okay. I know you're just starting to dive into the draft. I know you're going through your draft process right now, but we're gonna go BPA here for just first 3 rounds. Now you're looking at defensive tackle. Is that your first spot? You're looking, I need a DT.
Well, see, this is very interesting because there's 3 guys on that list that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Walter Nolan, who's actually been kind of mocked to us recently. I'm looking at Kenneth Grant from Michigan. And I'm also looking at Hampton, the RB.
I would hate that, bro.
From North Carolina. Honestly, going with how deep this draft class is, give me Hampton in the first. I think that's the best player available. He's explosive. He can give something to this room. He is actually someone that I kind of can't believe is there, but he's been there in recent mock drafts.
Yeah. I actually hate you for that pickup because that's one of my favorite running backs in this year's draft. So you're looking right now, Isaiah Bond will be such another Kansas City move, just bringing in another speedster. Bro, that like Xavier Worthy.
They won't go offense back. Like they'll go defense. I'm looking. Did you see that there was a mock draft where Jackson Dart was projected to go 7th to the Jets?
Yep.
They're smoking something crazy over there at NFL. Like that.
Yeah, Brian. I'm hearing though that the Jets are really enamored with him. It would make no sense to take him that early. If anything, try and trade back, pick up some extra draft capital. But
you might as well give him a Zach Wilson jersey. You might as well just you've already got that.
Exactly, bro. But position right here. Would you go DT? You got TJ Sanders over there. He's the best player available at that position, even though I think there's probably some better.
Yeah, let me look at defense.
Jamar Turner is nice.
Because the Arkansas edge is also really interesting.
That's baby Max Crosby right there, bro.
Yeah, I know there's that viral video of him hitting the bag in high school, but he's turned into a good player. I'd probably go defensive tackle here. I'd probably go with TJ Sanders from South Carolina. I think it's a safe pick in the 2nd round, and they also pick kind of quickly in the 3rd, I'm pretty sure, because they've got 2 picks because we've got Tennessee's pick as well.
Okay. So damn. So you still got a chance to take Landon here if you wanted to.
Fuck it. We're taking Isaiah Bond.
Yo, more speed.
Might as well. You could use a wide receiver. He might not fit, but he's a really fun pick.
Yeah. But that's a Kansas City move. It really is. All right, so you could take it back here.
We could. We did take Hampton in the 1st.
Oh, you did. I'm tripping.
Because, listen, I'm a Devin Neal stan. I absolutely love Devin Neal. I go to Kansas. I watched him 4 years in college. He is someone that he's not going to test really well in the 40 time. I don't even know if he ran a 40. Actually, it was like a 4.45 or something like that, or 4.54 or something. He's not going to blow you away with his speed. He is someone that has fantastic vision. He can make the first guy miss. And he's also got that deceptive breakaway speed. And I don't think that they're going to take Devin Neal as much as it hurts me. DJ Giddens, the K-State kid, he's good as well.
He struggled at his pro day, bro. I was there covering it, and it's 3 plays back to back to back. He ran the wrong route, dropped 2 balls. I mean, I'm not acting as other kid was phenomenal last year. I mean, he had 1,300 rushing yards or something like that.
I went crazy.
Yeah, he's still and he's a good kid. I got a chance to talk to him, but he struggled a little bit at his pro day. But I mean, Giddens is a ball.
What do you think of Scatabo?
Oh, I fucking love Scatabo, bro.
Really?
I would hate to see him go to. It'd be funny to watch a little salt, him and Carson Steele.
See, it'd be funny because I'd actually hate it if we drafted him. I don't think he's going to be good at the next level. I've got questions about his speed. I think he's a great college player, but I really wonder if that's going to translate.
I love his balance. He's just a hard-nosed running. He's from my city also. It's like the Devin Neal effect with you. Like,
Sure.
I love him. He's from East Sacramento, so I'm always rooting for him.
It's all about how you get used. Like, if there's a team that is good, if they use him like a fullback, he'll be fantastic. He'll be Kyle Juszczyk. But it's just like how are they going to utilize someone like that? And so I don't know, but I guess to get back to it, so
I would go. If I'm you, I'm going to Royo here. I'm going to Elijah right now because Travis is on the last year of his deal, but pretty much he'll probably retire after this upcoming season. That's a tight end that you could take a look at out of Miami. That is a baller, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how important tight end is. Like, but can you? What are our defensive backs looking like? Is this our first pick in the third, or is this our?
Let me see. Go to corner. Oh, Kobe's there.
Give me my man Kobe Bryant. I've talked to him multiple times. Great guy. I like him a lot. Kobe Bryant is Trayvon Diggs. That's who he is. He's someone that he could give up a big play every now and then, but he is going to come down with a football. It was KU Houston. It was at Arrowhead. He had 3 picks. He had 3 interceptions in one game.
Yeah. And he's a good kid, and he talks a ton of shit.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Bro, I watched him at the Shrine Bowl literally just pick apart those wide receivers, bro. He was talking mad. He knows how to get into the opposing receiver's head, which is a phenomenal trait that a lot of these kids don't have these days. He's a master manipulator on the football field, and he's a ball hawk. So, but you are right, though. It's big play, give up, make a big play. It's definitely that Diggs effect. But yeah. I mean, Kobe, if he's available there in the third round, there's no way that you pass up on him.
No, so, I hope they take at least some local kid. They did that a couple years ago when they took Felix in the first round. That was just a bad pick. I mean, it was kind of a need, but I think that was Clark Hunt saying, the draft's in Kansas City. We got all these K-State fans here. Let's take that guy. And it hasn't worked out. He sucks.
I like Melo too. What do you think about Dotson?
Dotson's good. Dotson is actually graded as a higher prospect, like someone that could be better. I will say it's interesting because usually when a cornerback has a lot of stats, like tackles or interceptions, it means that the other quarterback is throwing at him because they see a weakness. Yeah. And that's kind of in the case of that Houston KU game where, you saw actually it was one of those games because I took photos down on the field for KU football games when they were at Arrowhead. I have a pic. If you guys end up drafting him, I'll send it to you, of Melo diving into the end zone from a pick 6 that he caught. It was against TCU. He was pretty good. He's going to be a good prospect. Again, it's just like, can he fit into the system? I think if I was to grade who's going to be the better pro, I'd probably say Melo, just because I think that the big play give up from Bryant is a little concerning. But like, you can watch Jalen Noel versus Kobe Bryant tape, and like Kobe held his own. Yeah. And so I think either one, you're getting a good defensive back, especially in the 3rd or 4th round. Like, you're not going to find anybody, better in those spots.
Is there any free agents out there that you're looking at right now that's still available? I mean, it's kind of slim pickings at this point, but I wouldn't be shocked if you guys went out and got another veteran wide receiver to kind of take that Hopkins role. I mean, could you see Amari Cooper? Do you think you guys can take a look at him? I mean, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. He's one of the last receivers off the board. I mean, in free agency. I mean, can you see that?
No,
or is that Hollywood? Is that essentially Hollywood right now? Is it just, he's the guy to be the veteran presence in the wide receiver?
Well, I think that's Juju, actually. I think that's why they kind of brought back Juju.
I forgot. Yeah.
Because I think it was DeAndre Hopkins or Juju Smith-Schuster. And so I see some of my guys coming in asking stuff. Cole, great to see you. He kind of asked, like, what is the opportunity that they might draft Devin Neal in the 3rd or the 4th? I would love it. I think that it might be a little, listen, as homerish as this is going to sound, like I would take him in the 4th. He's probably not a 4th round draft pick. It kind of depends on how running backs get drafted. If guys get, selected really early and there's a slide on running backs, then guys are going to go really quickly.
There's going to be 3 or 4 different runs, Cole. I'm telling you right now, there'll be one where the first round is not going to be a run. It's going to be Gene T and it's probably going to be Hampton. Those 2 guys are probably the only first round guys.
That's if Hampton gets out or if he goes.
But if there is a second back, I'm assuming it'd be him. And then you got that second round where you're going to see Trayvon Henderson, Juckins, Caleb Johnson, that little run right there. 3rd round, you're going to see Scatterboo and some of those guys. Neal could be gone in the 4th. To be honest, like those runs can get a little tricky there. But I have Neal kind of in that him, Giddens. What's another few backs that I like a lot?
He's kind of in the Scatterbo era.
Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State, like that kind of realm. You know what I mean? But I think it'd be too early to take him in the third, Cole.
Yeah, that's a reach. And I love the kid. I think he's going to be great, but you got to be smart here. And I don't know if the Chiefs even like him. I mean, I hope that they do, but I don't know if he's even on their board. I think that they like a guy like Hampton. They like someone like a Judkins in the second round if he can fall to him.
That dude's a monster, bro. Judkins is a beast, bro.
Yeah.
Physically, that dude is like a machine. And he's a thumper, bro. I would hate to see you guys have him and Pacheco. That would hurt my soul.
You guys can get Pacheco next offseason. He won't be a Chief.
No, I'm good. Salute the Where's the Flag.
I am also good.
Spy Tech is at Boise State's Pro Day. Man, I hope we don't pull that trigger at 6. I like the draft, like winners. Look, this is the thing, Where's the Flag? If he is the best player available at 6, if that run, if Shador's gone, and Cam's gone at 1, essentially, Abdul Carter should be out of there. Travis should be gone. And then you're looking at potentially McMillan or Graham. Like, if he's the best player available at 6, you got to pull the trigger there. You got to take him. This is a guy that I know a lot of people don't think is generational, but he's a guy that can be generational. He possesses everything that you want out of a running back: balance, yards after contact. This dude can do it all. Yes, he can get better in pass pro, but I mean, he's not the perfect back. I mean, it's difficult to find those. You know what I'm saying? But this kid is a monster, bro, and he's a workhorse. He had almost 400 carries this year. You know what I mean? And over 2,000 yards after contact. Like, that's crazy. 2,000 yards after contact?
He's playing a video game out there against college football play. Like, he is someone that if you have the opportunity to take, you got to take him. You have to take him. Because guess what? If he ends up being Saquon Barkley, I know the run style is different. You're going to kick yourself. Because guess what? Generational doesn't come around that often. Even a prospect like Genty doesn't come around very much.
No. And he also provides a lot in the passing game as well. I think people are overthinking this situation. If he's there at 6 and we take him there, I would love it. Caps, I like Jordan James also out of Oregon. Him, there's a few other sneaky guys there in those later rounds. I like the kid a lot. We talked about him, the kid at USC. Like, he's the best pass catching running back in this year's draft. He's a baller. Like, if you take a look at him in the later rounds, he could provide any team, versatility in the ground game. So this is just a phenomenal class at the running back position, bro. Like, anybody that needs backs, this is the year to go address that. And sneaky, because you said defensive tackle. This is a sneaky DT class too.
There's great value there in like the second, third. And that's why it's like they could take Hampton in the first if he falls, because like you can get a defensive tackle in the second round. You already brought back Mike Pennell and you signed Tillery, so he doesn't have to start right away. So the Chiefs kind of put themselves in a position where you don't need to draft a player in this spot because you need him to play right away.
As a Raider fan, please start Tillery. Please.
For us, he'll actually have 10.5 sacks and be an all-pro.
He won't. He'll have a sack and a half.
He'll probably just be a pro for a while. Not all pro. He'll probably stay as a pro for a while.
Yo, salute to everybody here in the building. Also, salute to everybody watching on Darcy's channel. Everybody over KC Sports Report. We appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you guys get those likes up. Keep us in the algorithm. It definitely helps both channels grow. This is the off season. It's a lot slower. I know my guy Darcy's starting to get more into the fold and with YouTube and stuff. He's been going to school like crazy. You know what I mean? So I know my guy's been busy, but make sure you guys support my guy. Hit that subscribe button. My dude puts out phenomenal content. As much as I hate the Chiefs, I watch every time my guy uploads something. The quality is A1 and my guy knows his shit. So make sure you subscribe to him. And also, once again, for those, because I see a lot of people asking about Ben and Jake, those shows will be coming back very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Get a few questions in, you guys, before we get out of here. We're almost coming up on an hour and a half here. Get a few questions in the chat and let's talk.
I got a question for you. Like, what's I want to see your ideal like 3-round mock. Like, if you were picking, like, what would you do if you were the Raiders? Because like you guys have needs, but I think you still kind of have to take the best player. Like, that's a position where most teams get in a lot of trouble, where they reach and they try to get a player that can be a starter at this position that they need. The guy ends up sucking, and then you got to do the whole thing again. So it's like,
I'm going to do
It's
this.
interesting.
I've done 1,000,000 mocks, and it's probably going to end up the same way. I'll do no trade. Damn, bro. Can we do trades?
Yeah, if you want to. If you think it's realistic.
I mean, Gene T's there. Shador is there. You know,
I would take that trade in a heartbeat.
But yeah, you pick up an additional second round pick, and then
for the sake of the content, I want to see what you do outside of Ashton Genty. So yeah, take the trade.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm gonna accept this. So now we're gonna reject this. See, there's still a bunch of guys here that are available here at 12.
If you got Tyler Warren, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, we're not.
I would be that route. Pissed.
That would be insane to see him and Brock on the same team. That wouldn't even be fair, bro. But we still have to figure out what we're doing here with Michael Mayer. Is he going to be a critical piece on that offense moving forward? But Tyler Warren is going to be an absolute weapon for somebody, bro. This is interesting because Kelvin Banks is there. McMillan, I'm not a major fan of him, but us trading back and being able to get him at 12, I have no problem. I like Barron a lot. Revel, if he didn't have that injury, this is such a Pete Carroll corner out of East Carolina. I would take him right here. Luther Burden is available. You know, damn, Zabel, the guard, is available there, which is interesting. But we got an extra second round pick. So what I'm gonna do is here, I'll take McMillan. I'll take him. You get your ex receiver. He'll be the starter. God, you know, hopefully the next 10 years. So we'll reject this. We won't do any more trades.
They're giving you great trade offers. That's crazy.
Hey, but you know, I'm gonna keep this simple, stupid. Now this is interesting. We don't need a defensive tackle. We brought back Adam Butler. You know, Tyree Wilson can kick in if need be. We just signed another body there with Leaky, and then we also got Wilkins coming back. Kenneth Grant, I love the kid, but I'm gonna take Mike Green here. If he's here in the second round, I know there was some off-field things with Mike Green out of Marshall. Dude had 17.5 sacks last season, and he led the nation, I believe, with 17.5 sacks last season. It'd be interesting to take Benjamin Morrison, one of those guys right here. You know what I mean? Because I'm a Notre Dame guy, and I could take a running back, but you can't pass up on this type of talent. You know, the one guy that keeps getting mentioned with Mike, who with him is Khalil Mack. The body, the height. I gotta go that route. I have to, because then I can go get me a running back here in the third. So, well, actually, I got 2 second round picks, right? So what I'm gonna do is boom. I'm gonna reject these. Now I'm gonna go look at I got Trey Harris. But I got McMillan already, so I don't need him. I'm gonna take my guard or my tackle right here in Jonah, offensive lineman.
Do you like him as a guard at the next level or a tackle?
He'll probably be a tackle.
Okay, right tackle or left tackle?
You're not putting him on the left side.
Okay,
we got Colton there, and I think we're gonna extend him here pretty soon. But I mean, he's just a guy that. Bro, I watched him at the Big 12 as well. Like when I watched him do his workouts compared to all the other O-linemen from Kansas, TCU, it wasn't really fair, bro. Like, honestly, I may have to take him here. I could go wide receiver. Let me see what running backs are available, though. Okay, Juckins is still there, and Henderson is still available.
That's unfair. That's great.
So what I'm going to do –
a running back.
Yeah, I'm going to take him. But what I got an edge. I got a receiver. I'm going to go ahead and take Jonah here. I got 2 Arizona guys. I could take a receiver later if I need to. I'm not worried about that. So now it's either Juckins or Henderson. And I love Henderson's pass pro. I think he can be a stud at the next level. Juckins, man. Dude, this is Chip. Either way, Chip Kelly's getting one of his guys here. You know what? I'm going to take Henderson.
Okay.
There we go.
You guys have a lot of picks in the first 3 rounds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think I pretty much addressed. I mean, I got to get a corner, which there's one that I like in the later rounds in Za Frazier. He has that build and that measurables that Pete Carroll like looks forward. You know, but this is you get your receiver, you get Mike Green, a guy that can be the guy. Malcolm Kuntz is on a 1-year deal, and he's coming back from a torn ACL. So we don't know what Kuntz is going to be on the edge. Mike Green can be that guy, you know. The next dude opposite of Max Crosby. And on a rookie deal, it makes all the sense in the world. McMillan, Green, Jonah, Trayvon Henderson. And you know the crazy thing right here is, I know it's only 3 rounds, but I have to be honest, bro. These are all starters. They're all starters. Day 1, Darcy. Day 1. They're all starters.
Are they going to be good day 1 starters? I think that's the question.
They'll be great day 1 starters, okay? So, but, you know, once again, I'm not a major McMillan guy. You know what I mean? But I think that If he's there, if you move back and you get him, if we take him at 6, I think it's organizational malpractice. But if you take him at 12, I can live with that. Salute to S. Dot. No knock on Hampton, but I really don't see him doing the joke moves that an RJ Harvey is doing or Gene T. And I really don't want Gene T. Rather have Sampson, another guy, Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee that we haven't talked about on the show. He's a baller. He's a baller. But what do you guys think about this draft right here, man? I think this is nasty. You get a potential superstar edge rusher. I think he can be that at the next level, especially with all the attention that Max gets. You got McMillan, that big body X that a lot of people love out of Arizona. Jonah, you got a stud on the offensive line. And then you got Trayvon Henderson. Chip Kelly gets his guy back, in the backfield from Ohio State. I think that's a cold little mix right there. Cold little mix. So, boom.
What do you do in the later rounds? Is it kind of just like guys you think might be all right at one point at like what position, I guess?
From 5th to 7th, I'm looking at, because once again, Pete Carroll has done this time and time again where he goes and gets these sneaky DBs, Richard Shermans of the world. And you know what I mean? Like he finds ways to get those Legion of Boom-esque kind of guys. I think we're going to get a corner later. I do believe we'll end up potentially, maybe we add a quarterback. I don't know where Will Howard's going to be, the Ohio State kid. I know you don't. You're not a fan of
Will Howard hater.
I know you hate him. Yeah, I know.
I watched him because K State, obviously. He is going to be just a bad pro. I mean, he's just not going to be a good foot. Like he did take K State to the Big 12 championship, and they did win that. They won that, and then TCU made the college football playoff. Like that's how crazy that year was. But I'm not a believer. I don't think he's got the trades for the next level, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. I think if you guys take him, that'd be hilarious.
Later rounds, I'm going to say corner. We'll add a safety to battle out in that room. And I think that we're going to get another running back.
Okay.
We have a ton of 6th round. We have a ton of 6th round picks too. So we'll probably add another, maybe a speedster at the wide receiver. It's going to be interesting. Spy Tech, man, this draft to me is a little kind of up in the air because you watch what he did in Tampa Bay, but he just had his hands in a pot. He wasn't the one stirring it. So I don't really know the direction that he's going to go in. It's going to be interesting. And with Pete in the room, with Tom Brady in the room, this can go any way. I think this is the most kind of questionable draft that we have because we have a whole new regime. And Spy Tech for the first year is the guy to kind of be the guy to make the calls. So
is he on a similar leash as Telesco?
No, not at all.
No. Okay. This
is the Brady guy that they've known each other since Michigan. Both went to Michigan. I think he signed a 4-year deal. He'll be around to see this thing through unless we just absolutely implode. I think Spy Tech's going to be the guy moving forward. And I said this story on the show a million times when I went to cover the Shrine Bowl. Pete had got signed, I think the first day or second day that I went there, and everybody kept mentioning Spy Tech to me. They weren't even mentioning Pete. They're like, yo, you guys got a steal in Spy. He's so like respected around the NFL circles, bro. Like this is a guy that can be one of those next great GMs. So, and then when you got Tom Brady in the mix with you kind of, helping you out and Carroll and those guys, we have a great, for the first time, bro, we have a foundation. Just think about this, Darcy. A few months ago, people were literally screaming to keep AP around.
Or Aiden O'Connell as the starting quarterback.
Now you have a guy in Gino Smith who was proven that still has a ton of tread left because he didn't play a lot at the beginning of his career.
No.
You have proven winners. Spy Tech turned that thing around in Tampa Bay, drafted well and helped, bring in Baker Mayfield, helped bring in Tom Brady to win a championship out there. So, I mean, I'm excited. He has a 5-year deal, Rich. Salute to you, brother. Yes, a 5-year deal.
Are there still any AP lovers out there?
Hey, let me say this. Everybody loves AP because of the personality. I love that he's born and raised in Compton, loves the Raiders and so on and so forth. He's very pissed off right now. I can tell you that. He's very pissed off. Behind the scenes, he's not happy the way it ended, and rightfully so, man. But the thing is, man, you can't expect to come back after a 4-13 season and go and be literally not win one game in your division.
It's also like I wouldn't want to lose my job either. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure he's not happy.
Yeah, exactly. But it means a lot more to him now because he grew up loving this team. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, I lost my dream job because now he knows there's no other job available to him. We were the only team that would have even thought about having an AP be our head coach. You know what I mean? So I think he's pretty much done. But I'm excited.
Did beat the Chiefs on Christmas.
You
guys can have that one.
Before the draft, let's do this. We haven't broke down the Chargers. We haven't broke down the Broncos, and we'll hold off on that. We'll wait till our guys pull up. But if honestly, like with where we are in our division right now, I'm going to start. You start, and then I'll go into my. Where do you rank these teams in this division? Does it still go the same way, the 3 playoff teams up top until proven otherwise, or do you feel like a changing of the guard at quarterback, coach, GM helps the Raiders kind of move up in the AFC West? Where do you see this thing?
It's so tough because, yeah, you guys definitely got better. How worse did the Chargers and the Broncos get? And that's it's. Remember last year when I gave my predictions for the AFC West, and I basically had the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos all within like a game or two of each other. Yeah. That's kind of how I view it this year. I do think that you're going to probably see either Denver or the Chargers have a big down season, because here we had 3 teams in the AFC West make the playoffs last year. It's not happening again. It's not going to be my team that misses out on the playoffs. It's probably going to either be the Chargers or the Broncos. And so maybe we see Denver kind of slide a little bit because, Bo Nix has the sophomore slump. Maybe the Chargers completely implode. That's not really out of the realm of possibility because they're the Chargers. So maybe you leapfrog the Chargers. I can't see you pulling off this insane, 4th place to 2nd place kind of thing. But maybe you move up a spot, kind of mixing my sports references. I'm a Royals fan, and the Royals for the better part of my entire life have been one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. And they won a championship in 2015. They went to the World Series in 2014. But after that, and even before that, they were never a top 3 team in the division. And success, it didn't go from, them being number 4 to go, or I guess is there 5 teams? Going from being one of the worst teams in the division in the league to winning your division. So I think it's probably going to be a linear progression. You're going to have to improve this year and then build on that next year. And then probably at that point, you can have some serious conversations about, okay, we can go out there and compete for the division. And you can say that now. I don't know how realistic it is, but you can compete knowing that you're not going to be a joke. Even if you guys win 2 more games than you did last year, you improved. You didn't look stupid doing it. You didn't fumble the ball. Your center didn't fumble the ball in a divisional game and you guys losing at the last second. You're not going to lose like that. And if that's what, the new regime brings, I think that's success for the Raiders. Now,
I got to be real. Both teams in our division got better. Now, I don't know what this looks like next year, but there was some interesting – I'm not going to be too – if I'm a Bronco fan, I'm not excited about Evan Ingram at this point. They signed him to a 2-year, $23 million deal. I mean, they went and got Trent Sherfield Sr., added another receiver into the mix on an inexpensive, I think, 1-2-year deal for $6 million. But they brought in Dre Greenlaw, 3-year deal, which was a great pickup for them at the linebacker position when healthy. He's one of the better linebackers in the NFL. Then they bring in Hufanga as well, the safety from the Niners, 3-year deal, $45 million. He's a baller. They bring back one of their own in DJ Jones. They re-signed Jarrett Stidham. I mean, they had a good offseason. They really did. They still can use some wide receiver help, which I think that they'll address in the draft. But then you look at the Chargers, dog. These dudes went out and it seemed like they signed everybody. They went out. They got Tyler Conklin at tight end. They went and brought in one of our guys, Andre James, which I hope he's the starter there. I hope he's the starter. They get Mekhi Becton. They'll kick him in at guard, and he'll be another great addition to that offensive line. They have some studs on that O-line. Who else did they bring? Deshaun Phillips, linebacker, Naquan Jones, the nose tackle, Deshaun Hand, another defensive tackle. They brought back Mike Williams for his second stint, who had a weird year last year, Darce. He was just weird.
He's such a weird player at this point.
Keenan
Allen's still available too.
Yeah, I would love to bring him in. 6'2", 6'3". He had a good season last year. People beat up on him, but he was the 3rd option in Chicago. He had over 700 yards, and he had 5 to 7 touchdowns. But the Chargers are interesting. We got Najee Harris. He goes back home to California. He's going to be running behind a better O-line, and he has a better quarterback out there. Got Dante Jackson at the corner spot. They brought back Khalil Mack on a 1-year fully guaranteed deal. So, I mean, our division is still kind of flowing. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see what all 4 teams look like after the draft. I think that we're the team we are the team that needs to hit this draft out the ballpark more than anybody because we have more holes than most of these other teams. You guys were all 3 playoff teams. You know, we lose both of our starting linebackers in Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane. You lose a starter in Merrick. We brought back Chin, so we don't have to really too much worry about that. But the corner room is a little interesting. You got Jack Jones that essentially needs to be your 3rd corner. Like, he doesn't need to be your number 1 or number 2 guy. Jacorian Bennett, baller. He's going to come back healthy this year. We need to add some corners to that room, but the draft is major for us this year. This is the one where Spytek's Raider, like, he's going to be based off of this year, this draft. Our GM is going to, like, this is the draft where he has to hit it out the park. And we need a ton of production from our second-year guys. You know what that means, Darcy. When you have your homegrown guys, that second year is major for these guys' development. JPJ has to show that he can stay healthy and be that guy at the center spot. Brock Bowers, I'm not worried about him. Barring any injuries, God forbid, he's a generational type talent. DJ Glaze looked really good for us at right tackle last year. Is he going to kick in the guard, or is he going to be the starter on the outside? We shall see. But those are the players like the Trey Taylors, the Dylan Laubes, the Cameron Richardsons, the later round guys. I'm looking to see, like, where are they in year 2? We need those guys to hit that corner in year 2. And where's Tyree Wilson? Former first-round pick, took him at 7, kind of showed some life last year, but where does he fit in the grand scheme of thing on his defensive line? He's been a bust up to this point. You know what I mean?
Where does he fit?
I mean, he's an edge rusher that kicks in and plays DT for us, and essentially he only really possesses a bull rush. He's slow off his get off. It's just I'm a little worried about him. He started to show signs of life last year, but this is essentially, what is it, year 3 for him? He better hit that corner.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he does have a 5th-year option. If he does turn that corner and he does end up being solid, he'll be back for that 5th year. But yeah,
I think we're not picking that up at all. If I'm a betting man, bro, I don't see us paying him even that 5th. It just the production doesn't even out. You know what I mean? I just don't. I mean, he has to have a major year this year for us to even think about that. But I don't see it. I don't see it. Salute to S-Dot. Graphk, have you seen or can you guide me to Hampton's film where he's a thumper? Because the limited film that I've seen on YouTube, he's always running through huge holes by his O-line, man. S-Dot, remind me, send me a message on Instagram. I'll send you some stuff. It's so difficult to just go off stuff off YouTube. Like, you gotta go on that all 22 and some of that film that you can add some actual film, not just
highlights, like actual snaps.
Yeah, and S-Dot knows that because S-Dot he's a major like film guy, but you can't go off of Hampton's tape, just truly just off of just highlights on YouTube. But I gotta say this: the thing with Hampton is he kind of scared me. He runs a little high. He reminds me of Latavius Murray a little bit, the former Raider. Like, I don't know. I love Hampton. Everybody knows he's one of my favorite backs in this year's draft class, but he gives me kind of like Latavius Murray vibes a little bit. Like, and I could be wrong. He's like my boomer bust running back in this year's class. Like he could be phenomenal, or he can just be a regular pedestrian, like running back that go out there and give you some production and you just kind of bounces around the league a little bit.
Well, as long as he doesn't give you Clyde Edwards-Helaire vibes, then I think we'll be okay. That
was a major blunder from the Chiefs, bro.
Over Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, it's not great.
Oh my God, man.
Not great.
Oh my God. Salute to everybody here in the building. Hey, plug away, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you and all that good stuff for those who are on my channel.
You guys can go follow me on YouTube at KC Sports Report. Definitely subscribe to me. Want to hear from you guys all season long because I'm sure that you will be very, very opinionated with what the Chiefs have done, what the Chiefs will do. And if you guys end up beating us like, you did on Christmas a couple of years ago, that's your time to rub it in. But you got to be subscribed to rub it in. So definitely go check me out on YouTube at KC Sports Report. And then on Twitter, you can follow me at the Michael Darcy.
There you go. And we're trying to put something together, you guys, this season. Hopefully, we were thinking either Vegas or Kansas City, whatever game it is. We're going to try and do both. Maybe both. That'd be great. But we want to do something live for the people in Kansas City that weekend when we go out there. So once the schedule's released, we're going to try and put something in play out there in Kansas City and then definitely in Las Vegas. So you're going to see a lot more of the AFC West guys together rocking in person and on screen. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much to everybody that's still rocking. We had 900 people in the building.
Fantastic.
So we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys get those thumbs up on both channels. And also, if you're on Twitter, jump over to both channels and get those likes up and hit that subscribe button. Also, we appreciate you guys. Hour and a half right now. Let's get out of here. We'll save some of this for next week. AFC West next week. Stay tuned. We're going to get Jake back into the fold. We're going to talk more about the Chargers. And hopefully there's some more moves being made by then. Honestly, there's no sexy moves left in free agency. I keep mentioning Elijah Moore. Darcy, that is a guy that I would love to be a Raider. 24 years old, former Ole Miss superstar at wide receiver. Hopefully we can get him here soon.
I wanted him in the draft too, man. It's crazy to see these players that don't end up working out. It's like the love's still there. You still want to bring him in thinking that you can change him, but who knows?
When you go to the Jets and the Browns, two of the worst quarterback, historically two worst teams with the quarterback situations, it's kind of tough for Elijah Moore to live up, to the potential that he had. But other than that, you guys, as always, appreciate you guys so much. Love every single one of y'all. Salute to SinCal. Shout out to Halloweena.
Not sponsored. We're working on it, though. We're working on
it. But other than that, you guys, we will be back soon. Thank you to my brother Darcy for pulling up. 7 Rings Podcast. Once again, the AFC West guys will be back very, very soon. And also, once again, prayers going out to our brother Ben over there, man, him and his family. Hopefully we see him soon. He is like the light in the group, man. He's like the most funniest dude on the low ever. So prayers going out to him.
Ask him what he thinks about Michael Sam. Go comment. Go comment. He'll tell you what he thinks.
Go spam his last video comment section and just say Michael Sam. That's all you got to say. Other than that, you guys, we are out. 1.